Captain, saucer section reports 6 more children are gone.
It's the children. That's why we've been brought here.
This week we're watching Star Trek Next Generation Series 1, episode When the Bough Breaks, and I've got some terrific facts for you for this episode that I've dug up. Please hang around till the end because some of the facts as this goes on really are quite terrific. Hopefully I'm going to get through every single episode of Star Trek, so I'm going to keep going with this. Now, for the first fact that I found out about this episode, and actually just a quick recap of this episode, it's about a planet whereby people don't have any children, so of course they kidnap some of the Enterprise's children, which is a silly mistake. Now, on to the facts. Production was halted during the filming of the episode early on due to Brent Spiner becoming addicted to the nucleoprotons in the paint used on his body. For several weeks his body had gotten used to the nucleoprotons in the paint, and when he didn't have the paint applied to his face and hands and body, he would have severe mood swings and his body heat would rise by 25%. Staff doctors would work alongside the makeup department to devise a new safer makeup to cover his body in that would have less adverse reactions in the future. Now, they were approximately halfway through filming this episode, When the Bough Breaks, when they realised that they'd actually put Captain Picard in a gold uniform instead of the red that a captain should be wearing. Thousands of dollars had to be used to reshoot the episode up to this point, wasting time and money for the actors and the production team. Gene Roddenberry was shocked that nobody had noticed Patrick Stewart wearing a gold uniform, which he'd been doing for 3 days, even though Roddenberry was just as guilty as he was always on set during the shooting. When Wesley Crusher, actor, read the script for the episode, at first it gave him flashbacks to when he was kidnapped himself as a child, and he refused to go with the storyline. After talking to Paramount studio psychologists, though, it turned out that he was kidnapped, but it was just in a previous acting role, not in real life. So Wheaton was talked into accepting a role, even if it meant him being typecast as a kidnapped victim. Actor Lavar Burton's brother, Enid, had brought him a dog for his birthday, which was just prior to filming the episode When the Bough Breaks, as part of the pet's training. The dog had to be with him all of the time, so LeVar Burton had taken the wolfhound to the Star Trek studios to begin filming the episode. Somehow, the dog escaped its tether at some point and ravaged one of the production assistants, chewed a lot of the original sets before biting Rick Berman's uncle. LeVar Burton was distraught about the incident and was told to never bring the poor dog into work ever again.
And that's your final answer?
That's my only answer.
When the Bough Breaks was the name that the writer Hannah Shearer settled on during going through and exhausting over 100 possibilities of story names. Other names that she came up with during writing the episode were When the Kids Go, Wesley Goes Away, Planet Nomad 6, Nomad Planet of the Kidnappers, Ear Hostage, Kids No More, and Starship Kids Go. Now, in the scene where Dr. Crusher is sitting in her quarters crying about her son Wesley being kidnapped, she was actually crying for real. Actress Gates McSomething was genuinely saddened about the prospect of a son being taken away. She was so saddened that she got choked up with tears for literally over an hour. This was a dream come true for the cameramen, who got some amazing footage for the episode of Dr. Crusher crying. But we have to remember that Dr. Crusher is a human too, with real feelings. May them be feelings of dread, feelings of love, or feelings of sadness. Hollywood actor Graal Grape was contracted to play the role of Raju for this episode, but he had to pull out at the last minute due to working with Schwarzenegger in Predator. Instead, famous actor Jerry Hardin, known for his work on The X-Files, was brought in, and I think he did an amazing job. This was the episode where Jonathan Frakes decided that Riker should have a beard to give him an air of authority and wisdom. He correctly foresaw how much respect he would get in the later years of his Star Trek career, mostly due to his charismatic beard. Rick Berman famously said to him, "What's that on your face?" when he came to work with a shallow beard, and Frakes famously replied, "Oh, this is my future, and your future too." Now, the original plan for this episode was for Wesley to be going to an illegal space rave on a planet with Deanna Troi, but the idea was overturned because they decided that the character of Deanna Troi should not be going to a space rave at all, because she's supposed to be a professional, especially with a child, even though Wesley, of course, looks exactly like an adult. So this idea was taken away and they changed it to simply Wesley and other children being kidnapped by some space people. Now, the 2005 Australian horror movie Wolf Creek wouldn't come out for another 17 years after the airing of this episode, but the coincidences don't end there. Thanks for checking out my episode. Hopefully there's been loads of facts here that you didn't even know about Star Trek Next Generation in whole, and specifically about the episode When the Bough Breaks, which is an episode from Series 1. As I go through the episodes, I really am digging up some very interesting facts, so please bear with me. And thanks for subscribing if you have. If you haven't, thanks as well. Thanks very much for watching. All the best, guys. Take care.